Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. A few minutes past 3 p.m. here in Nairobi. This is Diaspora Dispatches. My name is Miriam Ogotu, and it is a pleasure to have you on board this afternoon, the 2nd of September 2021. On the show, I get to bring you up to date with what is happening in I wanted to say Nigeria. That is because a lot of things are happening in that country that are not okay. A lot of them we've been talking about, but also from the rest of the countries across the continent, and we shall start from Egypt. Egypt says it plans to produce more than 1 billion doses of China's Sinovac COVID vaccine in a year's time. Health Minister Hala Zayed told reporters that under a deal with the Chinese firm, a factory in the capital, Cairo, would make more than 200 million doses a year for the local needs. Another factory produced 5 times as many for exports, mainly for African countries. So far, only 7.5 million people in Egypt, out of the population of more than 100 million people, have received at least one dose. And then we head over to Mozambique, where a communication has been re-established. In Mozambique's districts where networks were vandalized by insurgents, one of the mobile operators, Vodacom, has confirmed the reconnection became possible after troops managed to recover some of the areas that were being controlled by Islamic State group-linked militants. Vodacom services are now available in towns and villages in Misimboa de Praia, Palma, Afungi, Quiga, Quitupo, and Awase. Another mobile operator, Movitel, has assured customers that it will restore communications in the districts of Misimboa de Praia and Palma by the end of this month. We head over to Botswana, where the president has suspended the assistant minister for health for attending a tombstone unveiling ceremony for his late father, in breach of COVID regulations that ban public gatherings. Setomo Lelatisiswe apologized and said the event had been planned a long time ago and could not be postponed. He has been suspended for 1 month. His family was unveiling his father's tombstone as their mother took off the mourning dress as required in their culture. Only cabinet meetings, parliament sittings and funerals are allowed in Botswana. The government banned all gatherings because of rising COVID-19 cases. And still staying in the southern part of Africa, and in South Africa, South Africa has said it is unable to take in refugees from Afghanistan. It said it had been requested to accommodate refugees who were in Pakistan and on their way to other countries. South Africa was not in a position to accept them, as the refugees will be best served by remaining in Pakistan, their first country of arrival. This statement from the government said. Some other African countries, including Rwanda and Uganda, have agreed to host Afghan refugees as they wait to be resettled in other countries. And then we go now to Nigeria, where all schools have been ordered to close in Nigeria's northwestern Zamfara state following the latest mass abductions of students. On Wednesday morning, armed men on motorbikes and pickup trucks stormed a secondary school. A teacher said 76 students, most of them girls, and a member of staff had been taken. Reports say more children may have been seized, as 400 were enrolled at the school. At least one child was critically injured when the gunmen opened fire, the reports say. Kidnappings of school children continue in northern Nigeria despite the deployment of thousands of troops to help in curbing the insecurity in the area. And then we head over to the Gambia, where nurses in the country have started a 3-day nationwide strike over non-payment of allowances approved in May. The nurses say they will not resume work until payments are made in full. The Minister of Health, Amadou Lamine Samate, described the strike as illegal. He said the allowances have been paid already, but the National Association of Gambian Nurses and Midwives disputed this. The mayor of the capital, Banjul, Rohi Loe, has backed the nurses' strike. And then we go to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and officials in eastern DRC say about 80 people are missing after militia ambushed a convoy, killing at least 3 people and setting fire for 16 other vehicles. The attack in Ituri province has been blamed on the rebel Allied Democratic Forces ADF. The convoy was being escorted by the army and UN peacekeepers due to insecurity among the main highway linking Ituri with North Kivu province. The ADF is an Islamist group accused of killing thousands of people in the recent years in that part of the country. And still staying with the DRC, a monument in memory of former President Mobutu Sese Seko has been erected in his town of Badolite in the northwest of the Democratic Republic of Congo. A foundation of a Congolese minister erected the statue, a first in the former Zaire. The installation of this bronze bust, wearing a hat and glasses on his nose, took place on Sunday in Badolite, a capital of the North Ubangi province and the stronghold of Joseph Desire Mobutu, who ruled Zaire, now DRC, with an iron fist for 32 years. He was ousted from power in 1997 by the rebel of former President Laurent Desire Kabila, who was the president in 1997 to 2001, and then died in Morocco in 1999. His remains have not yet been repatriated back to the DRC. Since then, no monument has been built in his memory by the successive regimes of Laurent Desire Kabila, Joseph Kabila, and now President Felix Tshisekedi. We go to South Sudan, and authorities in Bor say they cannot determine when Radio Jonglei will resume broadcast after nearly a week of shutdown. Radio Jonglei has remained off air for almost a week now. On Friday, security personnel stormed into the station and ordered the administration staff to switch off the radio. They also took the program's director and the editor-in-chief to the National Security Service unit in Bor for questioning. They were later released. According to the state police officials, the radio was shut down under suspicion that it broadcasted stories related to the failed protest organized by an online group called the People's Coalition Civil Society Action. The protest, which didn't happen, was meant to call for the stepping down of the entire government of national unity. It is now 5 days and Radio Jonglei is still off air. Algeria and the Ethiopian government on Wednesday announced it had closed its embassy in Algiers as it began to cut costs on its foreign policy obligations. It cited financial constraints in closing a mission to a country that had in the past hosted talks between Eritrea and Ethiopia, in which produced a document known as the Algiers Peace Agreement signed in December 12th in 2000 to end the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. This is the first foreign missions to be closed in a plan to save on cost. In July, Ethiopia announced it will reduce foreign missions by at least half to cut on cost. In a statement, the Ethiopian embassy in Algeria cited the economic crisis exacerbated by the negative consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic and also the ongoing conflict between the government and the TPLF in Tigray. And that is the latest from the continent. Now schools are closing down in Nigeria. The northwestern Zamfara state, all schools have been ordered to close down because of the latest, abduction that had 76 students abducted and a member of the staff. But it is believed that perhaps the number could be more, as the school has a population of about 400, students there. So it has gotten to there, but still, Buhari will still send messages of condolences if some of them are killed or will go. I don't know. I don't know where he passes his information now, because there's no Twitter in Nigeria. I doubt if he's tweeting, his office is tweeting using a VPN or anything like that. But this is a cause for concern, and I think this should not just be a cause for concern for Nigeria. This should be a cause of concern for the rest of us in this continent. And I think this matter, what is happening right now in Nigeria, especially with the abductions and things like this, I think this should be a matter that should find itself in the AU organs that have to deal with peace and conflict, which I know Kenya is the chairperson of this organ right now. So I think this is a matter that requires a continental discussion, because this cannot be allowed to continue the way it is continuing. This cannot be allowed until we have, now the schools are closed. The next thing will be carrying, boats and posts, hashtag bring back our girls or bring back our children. That is unacceptable. These abductions continue every day. Others, are very fatal. They get to be killed. Lucky ones get home when the relatives have paid for that ransom. And we know that has become a very lucrative business there in Nigeria. And the government is very, very reluctant in actually dealing with this problem. And President Buhari, the last, about 2 weeks or so ago, when he had written that op-ed, a piece, I can't remember in which, it is an international media house, and he was saying that, the reason why these people abduct and kill and all that is because there are no opportunities in Nigeria. So essentially, he was excusing this behavior that has been happening. He was excusing this level of, what these people do there in Nigeria. So, and you see now what is happening. They continue because if the government is feeling that they can, there's a reason as to why you're doing what you're doing, and they're not doing much to come after you, and then they just telling you it's okay. You continue abducting, students. You continue killing those you can kill. You continue going there in the name of bandits and killing people's, getting people's livestock and killing people at the same time. And so this attitude from the head of state, I think, is what has brought Nigeria to where it is today. The lack of understanding on what this means to the people of Nigeria and how this insecurity is affecting the day-to-day running of a normal Nigeria. I think President Buhari is very aloof, and in the middle of a crisis, you saw that elaborate, flamboyant wedding that the son had a few weeks ago, where guests were given the latest iPhones, the latest Apple tablets, and all these people who attended this wedding are wealthy. They don't even need such kind of gifts. So they could have taken that money and went and gave these young people there in Nigeria who resort into these criminal activities because they lack opportunities. And the amount, and you could tell they're not just your normal people in Nigeria who attended this wedding, but the number of helicopters and choppers that were, that made their way to Kano during that time. So I think this issue of abduction of especially school students, I think that's enough. Enough is enough, and Africa needs to turn its attention and see what is happening in Nigeria, and we stop reading this and talking about this as if this is something that should be treated as usual, because it's not. When you have a whole part of a country closed down because of insecurity, because the children are not guaranteed that if you go to school you'll come back home safe, or if at all you even be alive, then that has gotten to very critical levels that should no longer be ignored. And if Senate in Nigeria does not have a special sitting and a quick one to really discuss what is really happening there in Nigeria, I think that are too bad. And Nigerians, I feel as though, are not demanding enough for accountability, are not demanding from the government enough, and so they're not able to hold the government accountable. So the government can just sleep on the job and it's okay, because the Nigerians and the citizens in that country are not demanding, are not asking. It's your right to be protected by the government. It's your right to know that your child can go to school and come back home, and there is that security that is guaranteed, especially in school. How can this be normal? Every day, children are getting abducted from school. This is not okay. And this is a problem that I think the rest of us in the country must stand up and speak about and say enough is enough. Buhari, you better do something. If you're unable to, then let's find who else can help in this situation, because I don't think your government is doing enough. So that is a great case of concern. For me as an African, I think it is sad when you see schools closed like this. The next thing you know, it will be like what you see in the Anglophone region in Cameroon, where kids have not gone to school for 4 years. It's not fair for these children. They should be in school learning. And if the government cannot guarantee their safety there, that government has no business being the government of the day. That is just my personal feeling. So I'm concerned and I'm worried, and at the same time I'm upset, because it appears Nigerians have become very complacent with this nonsense, and lack of accountability and lack of the government taking responsibility and doing something to ensure that they're addressing, the issue of insecurity in that country. So that is just about it. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Diaspora Dispatches. My name is Miriam Oguto. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.